rational thought. The intrepid researcher returns to the breach to holy...
Ooh, look at those legs waggle.
Give me the bullet torch.
No, mine! Oh, no. Hey, wait.
He died as he lived, sucking big time. Crab guy, you need to throw your shields all at once.
No. Why would I?
Because Bimo has a mission.
Shells! Throw your shields when the green box commands!
No! Easy like potato pie.
Bimo, that was incredible. You single-handedly saved everyone.
Olive. Okay, I know what you're all thinking. With my ship gone, I am trapped here. So yes, I will save your terrible land. It does need a saving, correct?
Yes!
Very well. Then I appoint myself your new sheriff. Now, show me where the trouble is.
Oh, hello. Welcome, you guys, to the Adventure Time Distant Lands special at San Diego Comic-Con at home. My name is Michaela Dietz. You may know me from my work on Steven Universe, another fun Cartoon Network show created by the trailblazer Rebecca Sugar, who got her start on Adventure Time. You guys, full circle. So just letting you know, what you just saw was a clip of the first of 4 Adventure Time specials. This one called Bimo, which you can stream right now on HBO Max. But let's just jump into it. You're not here to see me. You're here to see the real stars. Okay.
Hi, my name is Adam Muto, and I am the executive producer of Adventure Time Distant Lands.
Hi, my name is Niki Yang. I'm a voice of Bimo.
Hi, my name is Glory Curda, and I play Wi-Fi.
Hey, I'm Olivia Olson, and I play Marceline, the Vampire Queen.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess, I don't know. You guys think we should do like a Q&A or something?
I would love
it. Adam, Mr. Muto, I'm
Hey,
wondering what inspired you to take Adventure Time further and roll it off into the Distant Land special?
It's actually kind of an older idea because towards the end of the show, we had gotten our last season order and we had some success doing miniseries with the characters. So we pitched a few more miniseries ideas to kind of fill out the back half of a longer season. And one of those was Bimo and one of those was Marceline and Bubblegum. So it kind of just grew naturally out of where we had already been with the show. And we wanted to kind of get a jump on any reboot that felt inevitable. So this is not a reboot. This is like the same soup. Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of how that came about. But it took like a couple years in between before there was like a venue for it because HBO Max wasn't even a glimmer at that point.
What was the most obscure spin-off that like landed on the cutting room floor?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. We like made a list of like all these characters that we could kind of follow because we felt like Finn and Jake's story was mostly done and that was the series. So we didn't want to step on that. So a lot of it was just kind of focusing on characters who could bring something else to it or would have a completely different perspective so that it wouldn't just feel like interchangeable like it would have been a Finn and Jake episode. It had to be specific to that character. I'm trying to think of the weirdest ones. We might end up, I mean, who knows what we might end up doing. So I don't really want to say in case
okay.
Further down the road.
I'm going to hold you to that. So
well,
then,
hold on. There was like any character that a writer played, I think would got pitched a lot. So there was like Dirt Beer guy should come back.
Just want those residuals.
Totally.
So then, Adam, how did you land on starting off with Bimo as the first special? Why was that important to you?
A couple reasons. Part of it is like just BMO is like a very recognizable and cute character, and that felt like an easy access point.
Hello, BMO.
And he also, being in it would make the episode feel younger, kind of by default, just because BMO's perspective is a bit younger and more naive. And it, you know, it's just cool. BMO is like also a cool design, and it felt funny to kind of throw a very young and old kind of character who was kind of simultaneously both into a situation where he would probably do very poorly. So.
And I mean, the fans just clamor for Niki, for a dose of Niki Yang. I think people have been wanting that for a while since the original series ended.
And Adam and me went to same school, and then I was nudging him like, Adam, do something. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Please don't. No.
I'm totally kidding. For clear.
Okay, so without giving anything away, there is a surprise reveal at the end of the BMO special that, I mean, I certainly didn't see coming. Did any of you?
No.
Yeah. So, Adam, did you know from the very beginning that BMO's story would end the way it did? Or was this sort of an evolved process that you discovered along the way with, you know, some of the writers?
That particular image we had pretty early on, and it kind of depended what shape this would be, because this could have been a lot of things. It could have been a half-hour special or a movie, or I don't know. It was so kind of nebulous at that point. We just kind of knew that this would be an endpoint to kind of put it in context. So yeah, we knew it early on, and it made it all the way through. I wasn't sure it was going to actually make it into the final. Like maybe it would have felt wrong.
But
at the
it
end.
made it.
I need to
Spoil it for me.
Niki, I'm wondering, when you read the ending for the special, the script, what was your reaction to the reveal, and how do you think the events of the special BMO shaped the character in Adventure Time?
Yeah, when I saw the storyboard for the first time, it was mind-blowing. Because I thought the show was set like thousands later after a season was over. And just looking at Baby Finn and Jake, it was pretty full. And it was very satisfying because there was a lot of burning question about like where humans went and what happened. That crater, like where did they come from? Also raised a very good question about like who's Mr. M.
Forget about it, champ. Big cool guys like us don't need nobody else.
You make my feelings happy.
Hopefully it will get answered, but yeah, could it be a death of Finn and Jake? And Baby Finn and Jake. I love the look of Baby Finn and Jake.
Who's that?
I see Olivia is like, what's going on?
I know. I have a lot to look forward to tonight.
When I saw the ending, my only thought was like, time is wacky.
I know.
It's crazy. The passage of time, man. So, Niki. Okay. BMO has some of the most iconic lines.
Who wants to play video games? Check, please.
And I am wondering, what's your favorite line?
Yeah, he had a lot of great lines. By far, my favorite is BMO always bounces back. Because we live in such a strange time, that line stick with me. I like to shout to everybody, we will bounce back together. Let's don't give up the hope. Also, it shows BMO's strength, his positiveness, optimism, and he doesn't give up in any better situation. That's why I love it. Also, as easy as a potato pie, although I never had a potato pie in my life.
Easy like potato pie.
Bimo is his own big boy. Also, that shows how he sees himself, even though he is a little tiny robot. He sees himself as a big boy who can help other people and who can be a hero. He can be a little bit bossy, but he's cute.
So I just want to take a moment to talk to Glory here. Hi, Glory. How's it going?
Hi, it's going good. I'm really excited that I am here and get to be talking with everyone about this finally.
Well, so yeah, you play a new character, Y5, and do you want to tell us a little bit about her?
Yes, definitely, especially just me approaching Y5. She's very complex, and I think that she could be super creative and actually has created a lot of outlets for like individuality and to be unique and innovative. But especially in the beginning, the big missing piece is just the idea of like freedom and like someone to sort of, help Y5 find a voice and like action. And so I think that's a big part of the development that we see is like Bimo sort of walking into the picture was like key to the lock, kind of. It was like permission to learn how to break out of norms and be really feisty and spunky and just sort of become the fullest version.
How does it feel now to be a part of this beloved franchise, or really the Adventure Time family?
I still kind of can't believe it. If I think too hard of it, if I think too hard about it, I start freaking out a little bit. Going into this, in auditioning, I didn't even know what I was auditioning for. And so reading the script for the first time when I got it, I just remember my whole brain exploding. Because
But you look great. Came back together really well. Yeah, you look great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I loved Adventure Time. I had seen almost all of it at that point, and I had just like become really attached to it throughout high school. I just like couldn't believe it. It took a while for how like cool that was to set in. But yeah, on a larger scale, I just think I'm really just sort of honored to get to be a part of this whole like community or this whole like family that as a viewer for so long became like so much to me. It was just like this inclusive and welcoming and warm. And so I'm definitely just like honored at getting to be part of something that can welcome other people to like have fun and be whatever they want and just sort of be a second home. I feel like that's the best anyone could hope to achieve with a project like this.
My heart just physically warmed. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think Glory and I talked about like, oh, maybe we're going to go Comic-Con, and then Glory was like so excited about it, and then look what happened, Glory.
So crazy. I've always wanted to go to, and we're here.
Niki, we are here.
And you didn't even have to leave.
Home. So, Glory, I just have one more question for you here. What do you think Y5 did after the events depicted in the Bimo special?
I would like to think that after sort of being left in charge, I guess, or left with the sheriff's position, I like to think that there was a lot of time, like a really great moment for all of that stuff to come out of like, I have these ideas and I think we need to like make changes around here. And that there was a great moment of just like, I can finally put this out in the world and I finally have the confidence to do it. I fully believe it was a rocky road, getting all the way up to completely building back this community. But I really do like to think that it was Bima was a freeing presence and left a lot of that in Y5's life and on our whole planet. Yeah.
Man, can you just run for like president of the world right now? That was great. Okay, thank you.
Anytime.
Well, let's skip ahead if you don't mind, guys. But I really want to talk about another AT special coming up, which will focus on Princess Bubblegum and Marceline. And so at the end of the series, Peeves and Marcy's romance was confirmed in a really just tender moment. But in the special Obsidian, we're going to learn more about their relationship than ever before, both from before the series and what they've been up to since the finale. So, I mean, Adam and Olivia, can you two speak to, what fans might be able to get excited about?
I mean, the way that the finale ended was just so perfect. And I think it really kind of, even though it was the confirmation that the fans were so desperate to see for so long, it also was kind of this moment that might have not happened unless the circumstances were so high in the gum war. And so that sort of just opened the doorway to them to sort of have a discussion of, we need to talk about our relationship that we have and kind of see where they take it from there. And so it was really cool to kind of be able to see some of the things in the past that happened between them and how it will affect their future moving forward.
Love it. Okay, so fans
Try
are already. I can feel people being like really excited just from that answer alone.
I'm really excited for it now.
Including Glory. Including Glory.
I was really, really excited when I read the script. I think that the way that they executed this storyline with Obsidian is going to be really satisfying for the fans to kind of, tick off a lot of questions that they've had.
I mean, everyone has like a running list that they're just going through now. Speaking of Obsidian, Adam, what's up with that title, man? And like, how does it relate to, what we can see in the special?
It's a metaphor. It's the most powerful fusion, as you know. Obsidian, it can mean a lot of things.
With Steven Universe.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Sorry.
It had a lot to do with...
Glory, you're not the only one whose head is exploding now. Know that.
It had a lot to do with the setting because it takes place near a place that we haven't shown on the show previously called the Glass Kingdom. And obsidian is a type of natural glass. And it's spiritually, it can be protective and, absorb negativity, but it also can be weaponized, as an actual material. So it kind of has those elements to it that a lot of the characters within the show are exhibiting in this episode. It's not a perfect metaphor, but it's a metaphor.
I like it. And now, do you think this is something that it sounds so crude to say, just like slotted in there because you were dealing with the Glass Kingdom, or did you have an interest in these gems per se before? And is that then something that you applied?
That's another show. No, I mean, it had
show.
It just felt like it fit the setting and also the idea of kind of cleansing, because that's also like a property of obsidian that's supposed to draw out stress and kind of expose things. And that's kind of what this special is about too, is not necessarily like a checklist of like every event in the PB Marceline relationship, but just sort of kind of snapshots. So we're seeing like where some of their older stresses and conflicts have come from. But we also wanted to keep it sort of about them now. So it's like what their relationship would be like a couple years down the road. So they have a big romantic moment, and then what comes after that.
Well, so Olivia, here's a little, can I throw a question at you, ma'am? I can't believe I just called you ma'am.
Oh, God.
So obviously PB and Marceline's relationship is a major focus in Obsidian. And this relationship was speculated for years in the series before it was actually, confirmed in the finale. But AT superfans know that all the way back in 2014, their relationship was confirmed canon by you, Olivia, during a panel.
I wouldn't say canon. I would say I was highly speculative and trying to do I was doing research for a writing project with Adventure Time. So I needed a little bit of extra oomph. So I'm very persuasive when I'm trying to get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay. You saw things, you vision boarded it, somehow crept into the minds of...
I thought if I just went out and said it, that then they would be forced to have to make it happen because that's what I wanted to see. So I took initiative.
I love that.
No.
Well, what's cool about Obsidian in the special Obsidian is that, we get to see so many different sides of Marceline. And how do you think fans will react to those, different facets of her? It's
a really interesting storyline that they dive into. I think a big arc for her in Obsidian is just sort of getting over some of the barriers that she's put up in place for herself. If you really look at Marceline as a character, her story started way before the Finn and Jake timeline of things. And so she's gone through, lifetimes of ups and downs with different people and seen them come and go and things like that. So I think it has put her walls up really, really high as far as how much she lets people into her life. And she kind of decodes some of those themes because ultimately she can't move forward with bubblegum unless she tackles some of her own issues, which, everybody, you can't really put your energy into somebody until you figure out your own stuff that you're dealing with. So there's a lot that goes on there, which is just really great. I resonate with Marceline so much as a character because of her backstory. And for me, just to be able to figure out some of the things that I had questions about her was really cool to see.
So I love that, how personal it is to you. And probably, you've been doing this for years. So Adam and Olivia, actually, this is maybe a question for both of you. Music has been so instrumental in, the original series. And now, with BMO's mixtape, I guess that's coming out soon. And it includes music from both the original series and the BMO special. Cannot wait for that. So how has music played a role in Marceline and Bubblegum's relationship? And maybe can you give us any insight into how music will come into play in the Obsidian special? Please.
Well, I will say there are some songs, some new songs. So there are Marceline songs. We worked with some amazing songwriters that I think really, they were able to kind of hone in on Marceline's signature. So really like Rebecca's original kind of Marceline style, but also we're going to see how her songwriting has progressed from back in the day to more recent times now, and just sort of how the subject matter can kind of change, and the tone and her emotions and where she's at mentally will be on full display in the songs that she does in the special.
I love that. Adam, when you were conceiving of the Obsidian storyline, did you have kind of themes in mind for different songs? Did you have, styles in mind? Anything that kind of came into play? Or was that sort of like, did that come after you sort of mapped out the actual story?
We kind of did them in tandem because all the songs were composed before we even started boarding. And, I wouldn't say it's like a bunch of different styles because we did want it to feel like Marceline's voice and take advantage of Olivia's singing, because it felt like a missed opportunity if it was a Marceline Bubblegum special. Yes, and we had no music. But we also wanted to make it diegetic, so it's not. We didn't want the songs to suddenly come out of nowhere. They had to all be performances that fit what the situations they were in. And I guess they are different in that a lot of them take place in different periods from Marceline's life. So it's like when she was a kid, how would she sing then? And when she was an angry punk, how would she sing then? And sort of now, like, how would she sing, years into a relationship, but still with some issues that she hasn't quite dealt with. So hopefully it feels like it flows, but it still feels like the same character's voice, and not there's not like a sudden big band song in there. It's still
show tunes.
Yeah.
You can kind of see her progression as far as where her music and her tastes are shifting as to where her headspace was at the time. So that's pretty cool.
And Olivia, how method are you before you sing? Like, do you make your dad eat your fries before you kind of like have to get into character, or what's...
For the fry song, yes.
Daddy, why did you eat my fries? I bought them and they were mine.
One song in the special, I felt like I had to do some of my own emotional digging to tap into Marceline's emotional digging, because I think her songwriting actually has a lot to do with the storyline too, of just kind of being able to get her feelings out. And so, just that hurdle. It's tough to be vulnerable to someone, and it's tough to be vulnerable in a recording studio environment too, when we're in the glass fish bowl and stuff like that. But that day that we did record, it was an emotional day in the studio. I walked out, and I feel like I can kind of like snap back out and be happy. And I walked in, we broke right after this certain scene, and everybody was like crying, and I was like, "What's wrong?" They were like, "We're crying because of you." And I was like, "Oh." So I hope that we get a similar reaction. And I hope that it hits as hard as it did for everybody that was in the room during recording.
Did everyone at home hear that? Olivia hopes that she makes you cry.
In a good way. It's like a cleansing cry, though,
To feel feelings.
Yeah.
To have, yes, a cathartic experience with Olivia. Okay.
Yeah.
Loving it. Hey, Adam.
Yes.
Hey, excuse me, Professor Adam. Me. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Good segue.
It was so organic. I mean, really. Wait, so can you talk about some of the new characters in Obsidian?
That's right.
Because we're going to meet some new people.
That's right. It's not just about Marceline and Bubblegum. It actually starts with a new character who's sort of got elements of Finn if they were kind of amped up to a more extreme degree. But so there are these characters that show up at the beginning who are sort of analogs for the Finn and Jake world's characters, and one of them is named Glass Boy. And we thought we'd come up with another name, but it just kept sticking. We're like, that's temp. We'll change that later. But
I like someone who really brands themselves. Like, exactly, they know who they are.
Yeah.
A boy made of glass. Glass boy.
Yeah. Yeah. And nothing better came to mind. So it was that becomes like the inroad for the bigger Marceline and Bubblegum backstory. Especially because they're not going to really want to talk about it on their own. So he's kind of the pushy presence who incites them to come back and revisit. Yeah.
Oh.
And he's played by let me look. I have to read it. Michaela Dietz is the voice.
Oh, sorry. Did you say my name? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Glass
I've been holding this inside of my body for so long.
Scream it from the top of your lungs.
I'm the instigator. I am a boy made out of glass. So much, Adam, for making me a glass boy. Thank you.
Yeah. No, we were really happy to have you, and it was something we kind of consciously not avoided, but it always felt weird to use a lot of the same actors from Steven Universe while Steven Universe was going, because they were like so identified with the show. It'd be like, well, that's just Amethyst. Why is Amethyst in the middle of Adventure Time now? But I think you also found a voice that isn't just that voice. So it was cool to see how you created this character that didn't exist at all. So we didn't really have any voice reference for you to go off of, and you just found a way to
the
be
originator.
Really, yeah, your energy really.
Yeah.
Well, I just
Michaela energy in.
I just remember the record, like you and Christy were like, yeah, a little more, like more fanboy, more pump it up more. Like I just was like, like Olivia, you talk about making like people were so emotional after your performance. I would come out of there and I was just like pumped up on life. Like I just felt enthusiastic about everything I saw. Like, oh my gosh, drywall, amazing. Like,
I know. And I leave a session and I'm like thinking of my childhood, like, man. Really like looking in the mirror, like, who am I? It's a double-edged sword, though. I mean, I would joke about it for all the seasons that we did. It's like I never get really like a comedic good moment. Like I really hit all the emotional heartstrings with my storylines.
Well, it's cool that you were able to experience some different colors in Obsidian. So I'm excited for fans to see it. Hey, so there are BMO and Obsidian only make up 50% of these specials. So we have Wizard City and Together Again. And I mean, Adam, can you tell us, if anything, about these last two episodes? # no spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But what can you tell us?
I can tell you the titles, but what if the titles change? No, it's I think along the same lines as the first two. We wanted to focus on like either areas that were completely unvisited before or were sort of less explored that we might have been through before, but just really kind of digging in and kind of finding as much potential as we could out of it is hard to talk about without talking about is what I'm realizing.
we could play like a Mad Libs, you're just like insert noun.
Yeah, wizard. Yeah, it's gonna have a lot of magic and together again.
Magic. Yeah,
magical, and everybody comes together, and yeah.
But yeah, I hope I will say that they're not obscure characters, so they are like very familiar characters. So we also didn't want to go so far afield that it's not the characters that people already identify with Adventure Time. So without saying more than that, I will say that.
Okay, so you're saying that fans have a lot to look forward to, and we can be very excited. And it's all going to be on HBO Max. So, yeah, that was a plug right there. Plug. What is everyone's birthday today? Because you are about to get a present. Yes. Okay, you guys, a special sneak peek. The official artwork from Adventure Time Distant Lands Obsidian. Behold. Friends, thank you so much for joining us today for this virtual panel. Make sure to go check out Adventure Time Distant Lands special on HBO Max. The BMO special is out right now. Isn't that right, Niki?
Yes, it's out now.
Yes, you heard it from BMO. And be on the lookout for Obsidian streaming soon. However, before we go, we have another special treat. It's like your birthday in 2 birthdays in one day. Marceline performance by the Miss Olivia Olson. She will sing Monster from the Obsidian special.
I'm so excited to share with you guys this song from Obsidian called Monster.
I know we'll never grow old together, 'cause you'll never grow old to me. You're the pink in my cheeks, and I'm scared, 'cause that means I'm a little bit soft. But don't beat yourself up, Bonnie. Wasn't just the sun that I was hiding from. We were messed up kids who taught ourselves how to live. I'm still scared that I'm not good enough. Always felt like a monster long before I was bit. Yeah, only seen as a monster. Let's just say I'm used to it. I grew tough, 'cause love it only hurt me back. But loving you's a good problem to have, and I'm used to that. But I could get used to this. Yeah, I'm used to that, but I could get used to this. I know we'll never grow old together, 'cause you'll never grow old to me. You're the pink in my cheeks, and I'm scared, 'cause that means I'm a little bit soft. You're the pink in my cheeks, and I love that it means I'm a little bit soft. I'm a little bit soft.
Thank you guys. Make sure to tune in to Distant Lands.